Indonesia Armed Forces and Tzu Chi teamed up again to help the poor of Tangerang. In the US, volunteers strengthen themselves for the next 25 years of Tzu Chi. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Dennis Wu. Thank you for joining us. We kick off today's program in Indonesia. Tzu Chi volunteers in the country have long collaborated with the Indonesian Armed Forces to help needy residents. Earlier this month, the Tzu Chi Tangerang Liaison Office, with the help of the military officers, handed out 165 bags of rice to a nearby village which has been troubled by drought for more than 6 months. Let's take a look.
As soon as the truck arrives in Tangerang, Tzu Chi volunteers, military officers, and residents gather to help unload the bags of rice.
We've worked with the Tzu Chi Foundation for a very long time. We witnessed how Tzu Chi's charity work helped so many of our residents, and that's how we were inspired to join.
At this village near the border of Tangerang, residents have been troubled by droughts for more than 6 months. Seeing Tzu Chi volunteers deliver rice coupons to their doorsteps, some residents dance for joy.
If we sincerely reach out with a helping hand in whatever we do, we will be happy and filled with joy. We are truly delighted to be able to help the residents here.
As military officers bring back their coin banks to donate, residents as well are inspired to join this cycle of love.
I am really happy and thankful that we can share our love. Though we have limited income, we should help one another and help those in greater need.
It may be the first time Tzu Chi has set foot here in this village, but it certainly won't be the last, as volunteers promise to return and accompany the residents whenever needed.
Back in Taiwan, in New Taipei City's Sanxia, volunteers have been busy all summer with the assembly of parts that will later be used in the construction of prefab housing in the Philippines. The daily efforts of close to 200 volunteers will finally be coming to an end at the end of this month. Joining them for the last 2 weeks, however, has been Chen Shufen, who arrived to take over the job of tea service from the previous volunteer who was recently hospitalized. Let's now take a closer look at her efforts and those who have been working almost daily to help provide safe and secure housing for Typhoon Haiyan victims far away in the Philippines.
At the break of dawn, volunteer Chen Shufen, standing in for volunteer Zhuo Yuqin, recently hospitalized, is already busy making tea for the volunteers that will soon be arriving.
Sister Zhou was in charge of the tea but has fallen ill. I was trying to think who could fill her position, and suddenly Sister Sufin from Kaohsiung showed up. She has been a lifesaver.
A resident of Kaohsiung, Shufen, saw on DaAi TV that the work in Sanxia needed extra hands. Thus, she decided to rent a small apartment nearby to help out until the project finishes at the end of October.
I'm happy to have been able to meet so many new people and be part of this project involving 90 or more volunteers from the Greater Taipei area. It has been an incredible connection.
Although unfamiliar with the job, Shufen makes up for it with her enthusiasm. As only 2 weeks remain for the project, everyone is working 7 days a week.
These punctures are dangerous to use. Look at those using the machines. Most of them have injuries to their fingers. So don't think it is easy. We chant the Buddha's name to stay focused as we work.
Never having used the machines before, Qiu Yijian made up for his lack of experience through persistence and study. He now spends most of the week helping out here with his wife.
We don't need to buy a plane ticket to help out at a disaster site somewhere in the world. We can do work like that right here in Taiwan. I love coming here every day.
With such effort, commitment, and enthusiasm, it is no wonder that those in the Philippines are feeling the love.
Turning our attention now to the environment, we start with our series on the lost paradise for birds. In today's episode, we learn more about what went wrong in Taiwan that caused the reduction in the migratory bird population. Again, the answer lies in human development. The birds have first to survive the wind turbines and transmission towers that occupy Taiwan's west coast. Even if they manage to make it, their food source is seriously polluted. due to illegal dumping of industrial waste. No wonder the birds are disappearing.
This footage of the migratory bird Far Eastern curlew arriving in the wetlands along the coast of Changhua was captured in 2007. What welcomed them were large wind turbines.
Before the wind power generators were installed, there was some 10,000 birds flying over there. A year after they were installed, the bird population just completely disappeared.
This little tern was struck by a blade of a turbine while flying and died immediately.
Because migratory birds nest right around the turbines and they need to go back and forth hunting for food, so they are bound to be struck by the turbines.
Even if the birds can survive the turbines, industrial pollution awaits them. The birds have no idea their prey have already been poisoned by heavy metals and dioxins, as unlawful businesses have dumped thousands of tons of industrial waste here.
Small snacks such as these that appear like a chocolate ball or a tapioca actually will release very toxic heavy metals. Industrial waste pollution has led to the demise of benthic organisms in these wetlands. Without a food source, of course the birds won't come here. Industrial waste now litters these wetlands. Underneath me are toxic slags and cinders, while the nearby Taichung power plant continues to pollute by burning coal. Meanwhile, transmission towers and their wires obstruct the birds' path. These high-voltage towers block the birds' passage and obstruct their vision. Before, there were some 3,000 to 4,000 teals by the estuary of the DaAi River. But once these towers were installed, the birds disappeared completely.
These shores used to be a safe haven for migratory birds, but humans came and started development threatening the birds' habitat. Worse, planning for the Changhua Coastal Industrial Park began in the 90s.
The nearly 3,600 hectares of intertidal zone that used to be here were filled and paved for the industrial park.
In just 10 years, the once pristine habitat was completely transformed.
Beneath me are sand dunes as far as the eyes can see. This area is about 300 hectares in size. But can you imagine, some 20 years ago, all this was wetlands full of wildlife and tens of thousands of migratory birds. Now, because of man, nothing is left.
An old bird-watching tower has been swallowed by the sand.
You got to clear away the sand to see this old information board.
A sky full of migratory birds can now only be seen in old photographs.
We're kind of like archaeologists, actually. We uncover these signs to show people that the birds were once here. Now it's all gone and only lives on in our memory.
Humans believe they can triumph over nature with their inventions and creations, but just when they believe they have won, they lose more than they can ever know. Meanwhile, birdwatchers here can only mourn for the birds that will never return.
Humans have the ability to destroy our environment, but we can also protect it if we choose to. That's why Tzu Chi actively promotes recycling, which is gaining acceptance in China and Hong Kong, thanks in part to the efforts of local volunteers. In the city of Xiamen, China, volunteers are teaching members of the public how to sort their recyclables. While in Hong Kong, recycling volunteers have been urging members of the public to give items a second lease on life. Let's learn more.
Learning a recycling mnemonic is the first step to being a better recycler. And for those who want to learn more, nothing beats some hands-on experience.
I think that this effort has a lot of meaning. It can help encourage more people to recycle and sort their recyclables. I'm happy to take part.
College students, all of them former Tzu Chi scholarship recipients, lead high school students in learning more about recycling and as a way to give back.
I'm now in my second year of college. I received help from Tzu Chi in my third year of high school. I feel that helping people makes me happy. And as Master Zheng Yan has said, helping is one of the best things we can do.
In Hong Kong's Susai volunteers teach locals about recycling through Jingsi publications and DaAi technology clothing.
It's amazing that they can use PET bottles to make clothing and blankets. In addition to protecting this environment, these items can also be used in times of disaster.
The elderly also take a moment to join the festivities.
Many of the older generation don't really understand recycling, and I often see that they don't recycle their PET bottles, but just throw them in the trash. That is a big waste. However, through today's event, they can learn to do better.
With recycling concepts becoming more widespread, more people are coming together to protect our Earth for generations to come.
One perfect example of how Tzu Chi successfully helped restore the environment is the cleaning up of the Angke River in Jakarta, Indonesia. To help their students learn to take in a lesson of environmental conservation, teachers of the DaAi Educare Center in Malacca, Malaysia, set up a reenactment of the garbage-filled river for the students to experience what it was like to clean it up.
In January 2002, a massive storm flooded Indonesia's Angke River and brought to light the garbage problem the area had long suffered from. The storm also destroyed the homes of those living near the river. Thus, in partnering with the local government and with the help of local residents, Tzu Chi set out to clean up the river and build a DaAi village for the residents to live in. Not wanting history to repeat itself, Malaysia's DaAi Educare teachers brought to life the former pollution of the Angke River.
印尼红石油很脏哦，我们赶快用手啊把它捡起来啊！这里还有什么？我们都会去捡，不要捡起来。哎呀，捡起来。
Stepping into garbage and dirty water, the students experienced what it was like to clean up the river and practiced the environmental lessons they were taught.
因为等一下地球会肮脏，就会生病。心中有爱，也要行中有爱。
We wanted the students to understand they too can help clean up the planet like how the Tzu Chi aunts and uncles helped clean up the Angke River. This activity was the perfect solution.
Sacrificing their lunch, the teachers put together this activity, with the lessons learned making the endeavor a smashing success.
This year marks the 25th anniversary of Tzu Chi in the United States, and thus Tzu Chi chapters throughout the country are hosting special events to celebrate. In San Dimas, California, the Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters held a training seminar, where nearly 600 volunteers from all around the nation came to strengthen their spiritual discipline. Let's first see how volunteers in Los Angeles overcame challenges to welcome their Dharma family.
As Tzu Chi celebrates its 25th anniversary in the United States, as well as its education mission's 20th anniversary, Tzu Chi volunteers from all around the nation gather in Los Angeles for a seminar. Local volunteers also make arrangements for all those who flew in.
I think the most difficult part is that LA airport is huge, and there are planes arriving 24 hours a day. Originally, we had 32 pickups, but because of flight delays, we ended up having 48. There were 149 brothers and sisters to pick up.
Some of the volunteers from other states had to take time off work, so we have it easy here, and thus we need to support this activity.
Besides transportation, accommodation is also a big challenge. As space is limited at the Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters, 30 volunteers are staying at the house of local volunteer Zhu Tianrui.
By providing a place for volunteers to stay, it also gives them an opportunity to share their experiences with one another. and discuss how to better do their volunteer work back home.
At the training seminar, apart from U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers, volunteers from Taiwan also arrived to show their support.
The master hopes that every volunteer can spread Tzu Chi seeds of love all around the nation, and that it will flourish one day.
Through learning more of Tzu Chi's philosophy, volunteers are reminded of what inspired them to join the organization and vow to remain diligent in walking the Tzu Chi path.
On the second day of the volunteer training seminar at the Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters in San Dimas, California, volunteers got up early to attend a morning study group to ensure they started the day with clarity and wisdom.
Come 6:30 a.m., more than 500 volunteers gather at the Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters in San Dimas to begin their day with a morning study group. Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiwan share their experiences on how to attract more people to join their ranks. Despite the distance between Taiwan and the U.S., volunteers unite as one through the use of video conference technology.
Starting from July 1st up till today, that's 103 days. Of the 44 contact points in the U.S., we have accumulated over 41,500 visits to the morning study groups.
To ensure kitchen volunteers also get the opportunity to participate in the seminar, they prepare simple yet delicious instant rice for the nearly 600 volunteers.
We often cook instant rice, and we also promote it to others. However, we have never cooked the rice in such large amounts. We really felt that it had saved us a lot of time, so we were also able to attend the seminar.
Knowing such a meeting is hard to come by, volunteers cherish every opportunity to learn more about Tzu Chi's philosophy in hopes of spreading the organization's love far and wide.
We now return to Malaysia to join the Children's Day celebration at Batu Caves Tamil National School, north of Kuala Lumpur. Since Tzu Chi extended its aid to the school some 5 years ago, the school has come to identify with many of the charity's ideals. Thus, Bamboo Bank Homecoming became a part of the school's Children's Day celebration 3 years ago. The purpose? To teach students that they too can save money and help others in need.
In Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Batu Cave Tamil National School is celebrating Children's Day. As the deputy principal is also a Tzu Chi volunteer, she has incorporated Tzu Chi's Bamboo Bank Homecoming into the day's celebration.
We have the attitude of always receiving. Always the hand that gives is more blessed than the hands is received. So I feel these children, from young, if we teach them how to save, and that they too, even they are rich or poor, they can help the needy. That's what we incorporated this in our Children's Day.
My father, mother give 2 ringgit. I saving money 1 ringgit because I help to people, poor people. I save it because to help the people who are need help.
学校当中呢，学生群一般都是以这边中下层。
Most of the students at this school come from middle or low-income families, but the deputy principal is a Tzu Chi volunteer. The school has been teaching them that charity is not the right of the rich. To help the students take in this idea, we have them take part in continuing the circle of love to help more people.
The jingling of the coins trickling down gives the 1,500 students and 80 teachers a sense of accomplishment, for they know they are helping to make a difference.
With the year end just around the corner, Tzu Chi volunteers in Taiwan have begun assembling of Tzu Chi's Blessing and Wisdom red envelopes. These envelopes given out each year are complicated and not easy to put together. Thankfully, there are video tutorials and patient volunteers to help those who are still inexperienced. Next, let's take a look at the work going on in Taipei.
这样的话这边才不会有个洞洞，这里才不会有个洞洞，你们看到整个就很平了。
What seems to be an easy task of folding Tzu Chi's Blessing and Wisdom red envelope is actually quite complicated. Thankfully, a video tutorial is available.
我们要先把我们多余的水滴还有圆圈圈把它拿起来。
The assembly of the red envelopes has started island-wide in preparation of this year's blessing ceremonies. Volunteers work to make sure their red envelopes are perfect.
It's been raining recently in Taipei, so the volunteers first dry the paper with a dehumidifier.
We turned on the dehumidifier for 2 days, and now that we are working with the paper, the folds are very crisp.
At the Tzu Chi Songshan Liaison Office, around 100 volunteers have come to lend a hand. Among them is Zhang Meiyi, who is new to Taiwan.
I hope by helping to make the red envelopes, I am sending a positive message to society. In turn, that positivity can be transformed into something that helps me cultivate my own wisdom.
During the 15 days of assembly, approximately 30,000 red envelopes need to be completed. However, with so much effort and passion put into the process, this number will surely be achieved in no time. Meanwhile, at the Zhongshan Liaison Office, volunteers have also gathered to assemble the blessing and wisdom red envelopes.
Don't bend the image of the Enlightened One. Flip the paper over to fold. This way, it doesn't curl. Fold the back parts and place a dab of glue. Then count to 3 and gently push the entire thing down. And fold the sides over to see if it's centered.
These complicated steps do not trouble the elderly volunteers. Instead, it had become a way for mothers and daughters to spend some time together.
We can cut out the excess areas and save it for use on other things. The master says we need to maximize each item's use. Yes, she also taught us that these red envelopes help send our blessings to everyone.
While some are passing on wisdom from Master Zheng Yan, others find the process a type of cultivation.
In folding red envelopes, I've learned how to steady my mind. In gluing the red envelopes together, I learned about resolution and not straying from the right path.
I liked making handcrafts when I was younger, but today helping to put together the blessing and wisdom red envelopes took a different meaning, as I'm not working on something for myself, but for others in society.
Helping to convey Tzu Chi's blessings for society at large, volunteers diligently work to complete each red envelope. At the end of today's program, we visit a senior home in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, where Tzu Chi volunteers and Tzu Chins cheered up residents through their song and dance performance. Faculty and students of Nanzi Elementary School were also present to support the cause. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.